When someone hurts you, the first step to healing is not pretending it didn't happen. It's not putting on a brave face and acting like everything is okay. The truth is, pain demands to be felt. It knocks on the door of your heart, sometimes loudly, sometimes silently, but it always finds a way in. And when you try to push it away, it doesn't disappear, it just hides, waiting to resurface in your quiet moments. That's why acknowledging the pain is so important, not to dwell in it forever, but to recognize its presence, to sit with it, and to understand it. When you acknowledge your pain, you are telling yourself that your feelings are valid. You are honoring your humanity. You're not weak because you were hurt. You're not broken because you cried. You're human. And being human means you feel deeply. It means that love, trust, and connection matter to you. So when someone violates that, of course it hurts. You are allowed to admit that. You are allowed to feel that. The bravest thing you can do is to look your pain in the eye and say, I see you, I feel you, but I will not become you. Acknowledging the pain is not about blaming others endlessly or carrying the weight of bitterness. It's about being honest with yourself. It's about facing what happened instead of burying it beneath busyness, distraction, or denial. So often we try to numb our emotions because we don't want to appear vulnerable. But true strength lies in vulnerability. It takes immense courage to admit, that hurt me. Because when you do that, you give yourself the chance to heal from the root, not just cover the wound with a temporary bandage. Pain that is ignored tends to grow. It shows up in our relationships, our choices, and our view of ourselves. We start to believe we deserved what happened. We internalize the words or actions of others and allow them to shape our identity. But when you take the time to acknowledge your pain, you reclaim your power. You are no longer running from your emotions, you are facing them, owning them, and deciding what to do with them. It's easy to get caught in a cycle of denial. You might tell yourself, it wasn't that bad, or I should just move on. But healing doesn't happen by skipping steps. It happens by moving through them. Acknowledging pain doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're choosing truth over pretense, and truth always leads to freedom. When someone hurts you, they may never apologize. They may never understand the depth of the impact they left behind. But your healing does not depend on their remorse. It depends on your willingness to be honest with yourself about what you experienced and how it affected you. You don't have to downplay it. You don't have to compare your pain to someone else's and convince yourself it doesn't matter. If it hurt you, it matters. If it changed you, it matters. If it still lingers in your thoughts, it matters. Acknowledging your pain is a sacred act of self-respect. It's a way of saying, my heart is worth paying attention to. My wounds are worth tending to. You cannot fully move forward until you've fully faced what's behind you. You don't have to stay in that place forever, but you do have to pass through it, feel it, understand it, let it speak. Only then can you truly let it go without losing a part of yourself. Responding with compassion, not revenge, is one of the most difficult choices you can make when someone has hurt you deeply. The natural reaction is often to retaliate, to give back what was given, to make them feel the weight of the pain they caused. It feels like balance. But what it really does is keep you locked in a cycle of bitterness, constantly tethered to the person who hurt you. Choosing compassion does not mean you excuse their behavior. It means you refuse to let their actions turn you into someone you're not. There is incredible strength in restraint. It's easy to react. It takes no self-control to lash out, to speak words you'll regret, or to carry resentment in your heart. But compassion is intentional. It comes from a place of inner peace, from a decision to rise above what was done to you. When you choose compassion, you are choosing to protect your own heart. You are saying, I won't allow their actions to define how I respond. I will lead with integrity, not with anger. Compassion does not mean you pretend the pain doesn't exist. It doesn't mean you invite toxicity back into your life. What it means is that you see the humanity in someone, even if they fail to see it in you. It means recognizing that hurt people often hurt people. That behind every harsh word, every betrayal, every cruel act, there might be someone who is also carrying unresolved wounds. This doesn't justify what they did, but it helps you understand that their behavior is a reflection of them, not you. When you respond with compassion, you break the cycle. You stop the chain reaction of pain being passed from one person to the next. You become a point of transformation where the hurt stops and healing begins. Compassion is not about being passive, it is about being powerful in a way that is rooted in love and clarity. It means choosing your response with intention, not emotion. It means asking yourself, what kind of person do I want to be? And letting that answer shape your actions. You may feel like if you don't retaliate, you're letting them win. But the truth is, every time you choose peace over chaos, you win. Every time you choose to hold on to your dignity instead of your anger, you win. And every time you choose compassion, you create space for growth, for freedom, for your own healing. There is something incredibly freeing about releasing the need to get even. It lifts a weight off your shoulders. It gives you back the energy you would have spent plotting revenge or carrying resentment. That energy can now be used to build, to create, to become better, not bitter. Compassion turns pain into purpose. It transforms you, even if it never changes them. Sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do is to walk away without hate. Sometimes it's choosing silence over shouting. Sometimes it's offering a prayer instead of a punishment. Compassion doesn't mean you go back to being hurt again. It means you let go of the desire to return the pain. It means you are strong enough to choose kindness not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. When you choose to respond with compassion, you're not just reacting to one situation, you're setting a tone for your entire life. You're deciding what kind of energy you want to carry. You're shaping your character in the face of adversity. It's not always easy. It often hurts. But in the end, it's the kind of strength that doesn't just change the moment, it changes you. Setting boundaries, not barriers, is one of the most powerful things you can do when you've been hurt. It's a form of self-love that says, I care about my peace, my well-being, and my healing. Boundaries are not walls that shut everyone out. They are doors that you open and close with wisdom. They are not about being cold or distant. They are about being clear, intentional, and protective of your inner world. When someone has wounded you, the instinct might be to shut down completely, to build emotional walls so high that no one can reach you. But while walls keep pain out, they also keep love out. Boundaries, on the other hand, allow you to heal while still staying open to life. Boundaries are not about punishing others, they are about honoring yourself. They say, this is how I expect to be treated, this is what I will allow, and this is what I will no longer tolerate. People may not always like your boundaries, especially those who benefited from your lack of them, but your job is not to please everyone. Your job is to protect your peace and nurture your growth. And that means learning how to say no without guilt, how to walk away without anger, and how to speak your truth without fear. When someone hurts you, the natural response might be to either shut them out completely or let them back in without consequence. But both extremes come from a place of fear. Fear of being hurt again or fear of being alone. Boundaries are the middle ground. They give you the strength to say, I still have love in my heart, but I will no longer sacrifice my dignity for it. I can forgive you, but I will not give you the same access to me. Setting boundaries is not closing the door forever. It's simply placing conditions on how that door may be opened. Learning to set healthy boundaries requires self-awareness. You must understand your own needs, values, and limits. You must be honest with yourself about what feels safe and what doesn't. Too often, people stay in painful situations because they're afraid of being seen as unkind or unforgiving. But protecting your emotional space does not make you unkind. It makes you wise. It shows that you are no longer willing to bleed for people who keep cutting you. It shows that you are ready to choose yourself. Boundaries help you reclaim your time, your energy, and your worth. They are a declaration that you will not be defined by someone else's behavior, that you will not allow someone's hurtful actions to continue echoing in your life. They allow you to step back without bitterness, to disengage without drama. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. You don't need to defend your choices. A simple, "this is not okay with me," is enough. There will be people who test your boundaries, who try to guilt you into lowering your standards. But you must remember, you teach people how to treat you by what you allow, what you stop, and what you reinforce. If someone truly values you, they will respect your limits. If they don't, their reaction tells you everything you need to know. Setting boundaries may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you've spent most of your life putting others before yourself. But with time, you'll see that boundaries are not just protection from others, they are a gift to yourself. By setting boundaries, you give yourself space to breathe, to reflect, and to grow. You are no longer operating from a place of emotional survival. You are moving into a place of intentional living. You begin to surround yourself with people who respect you, not just need you. You start choosing relationships based on mutual respect, not on guilt or obligation. Choosing forgiveness for your own healing is one of the most misunderstood yet liberating decisions you can make when someone has caused you pain. Forgiveness is often seen as something you give to the person who hurt you, as if it's a gift they must earn or a favor they don't deserve. But real forgiveness is not about them, it's about you. It's about setting yourself free from the emotional prison of resentment. It's about saying, "I refuse to let what you did control how I feel, how I live, and how I love." Forgiveness is not forgetting. It is not saying that what happened was okay. It is not pretending the wound never existed. It is acknowledging the pain and then releasing your right to carry it forever. Holding on to unforgiveness may feel justified, especially when the pain runs deep. It gives you a sense of control, a feeling that you're guarding your heart, but the truth is, it doesn't protect you. It weighs you down. Unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. It's like walking around with a heavy stone in your chest while the other person moves on, often unaware or unaffected. Choosing to forgive doesn't change the past, but it changes your relationship with the past. It shifts the focus from what happened to what you are becoming because of it. Forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. Sometimes you'll have to choose it again and again, especially when the memories resurface or the pain feels fresh. It doesn't always come with immediate peace or closure. Sometimes it comes quietly, in the middle of a tearful night, when you decide that you're tired of carrying bitterness. Other times it arrives in the form of a whisper that says, "You deserve to be free." Forgiveness is not about being passive. It's about being powerful enough to let go, not because they deserve it, but because your soul does. Choosing forgiveness is choosing yourself. It's choosing your mental health, your emotional clarity, and your spiritual peace. It's understanding that healing cannot happen where hatred lives. It's knowing that you cannot fully step into your future if you're still chained to what someone did in your past. Forgiveness doesn't mean you have to invite the person back into your life. It simply means you're choosing to no longer give them power over your thoughts and your peace. Many people believe that forgiving means condoning the action, but that couldn't be further from the truth. You can forgive and still hold people accountable. You can forgive and still choose to walk away. Forgiveness is not weakness, it's courage. It takes strength to rise above your emotions, to step out of your pain, and to choose love over hate. Not for them, but for you. Because hate corrodes the container it's carried in. And the longer you hold on to it, the more it eats away at your joy, your clarity, and your purpose. There may never be an apology. There may never be a moment where the person who hurt you takes full responsibility. But your healing does not have to wait for their remorse. You have the authority to begin again without waiting for closure. Sometimes closure is the decision you make when you stop looking for validation and start giving yourself permission to move on. Forgiveness allows you to rewrite the narrative of your life. It allows you to say, what happened to me is not the end of my story, it's the beginning of my becoming. Detaching to protect your peace is not an act of cruelty, it's an act of wisdom. When someone has hurt you, staying emotionally connected to their actions and words keeps you entangled in a cycle of suffering. You replay the moments, revisit the conversations, and relive the pain over and over again. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care enough about your own well-being to no longer allow their behavior to steal your peace. It's a conscious decision to step back emotionally, to loosen the grip, and to reclaim your space to breathe, heal, and grow. Detachment is not bitterness. It's not pretending like nothing ever happened. It's not ignoring your emotions. In fact, it often requires facing your feelings more honestly than ever before. It is saying, I see what happened, I feel what it did to me, but I am no longer giving this situation power over how I live today. When you detach, you stop looking for explanations from people who cannot offer them. You stop trying to change someone who doesn't want to change. You stop giving your energy to a story that no longer serves your growth. You begin to understand that peace is not something you wait for, it's something you protect. Emotional detachment is an act of self-respect. It's choosing not to allow your inner world to be determined by the chaos of someone else's actions. You are not responsible for their behavior, their choices, or their lack of accountability. What you are responsible for is how you allow their actions to affect you moving forward. You may not have had control over how they hurt you, but you have full control over how long you let it live in your heart. Detachment empowers you to create boundaries between what happened and what will happen next. Many people confuse detachment with indifference, but they are not the same. Detachment still allows room for compassion, but without attachment to the outcome. It allows you to care from a distance, to wish someone well without needing them to be a part of your life. It gives you the freedom to feel without drowning, to remember without hurting, and to move on without losing your sense of self. It's a quiet strength that says, I can hold love in my heart and still walk away if that love is hurting me. Sometimes the most healing thing you can do is to emotionally unplug from the narrative that keeps you stuck. This doesn't mean pretending it didn't matter. It means acknowledging it did and choosing not to let it continue writing your story. Detachment creates space for clarity. When you step back, you begin to see things as they are, not as you hoped they would be. You recognize patterns, you understand your own needs, you reclaim your ability to choose who and what deserves your energy. Letting go emotionally doesn't always come easily. It often feels like loss, even when you know it's the right choice. You might grieve not just the person or the relationship, but the version of yourself that tolerated what you didn't deserve. That grief is part of the process. It's how you shed the layers of pain and start discovering the deeper strength within you. Detachment is not about becoming cold, it's about becoming centered. It's about shifting your focus from what broke you to what builds you. Choosing to detach is choosing to take your power back. It is choosing to protect your peace like a sacred space, because that's exactly what it is. Your peace is not up for negotiation. It is not something to be sacrificed for temporary connections or one-sided relationships. When you detach, you learn to find stillness within yourself. Even when everything around you is loud, you realize that peace isn't found in people. It's found in presence. And presence begins when you stop chasing closure and start embracing the calm that comes from letting go. Turning the hurt into a lesson, not a lifelong wound, is one of the most powerful choices you can make after experiencing pain. When someone has wronged you, betrayed you, or caused you emotional damage, it's easy to carry that pain as part of your identity. It becomes a lens through which you see the world, a filter that shapes your thoughts, behaviors, and relationships. But you are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become after it. The hurt may be real, the scar may remain, but you get to decide whether it becomes a source of bitterness or a foundation for growth. Every painful experience carries within it the potential to teach you something about yourself, about others, about life. The lesson might not come right away, it might not make sense at first, but in time, if you're willing to look beneath the surface, the hurt becomes a mirror reflecting things you needed to see. It might reveal areas where you gave too much, trusted too quickly, or stayed too long. It might uncover patterns that were never healthy to begin with. It might highlight the parts of you that are still healing. When you choose to learn from the pain rather than live in it, you transform something destructive into something redemptive. You are not meant to carry your wounds like a badge of identity. You are meant to carry the wisdom that came from surviving them. Turning your hurt into a lesson means refusing to let it define who you are. It means saying, this happened to me, but it will not control the rest of my life. It's taking the power back from the pain and saying, you taught me something, but you don't get to own me. When you do that, you begin to shift from being a victim of your circumstances to a student of your experiences. The lesson might be learning to listen to your intuition more closely, to set stronger boundaries, to speak up when something doesn't feel right. It might be learning to value yourself more deeply, to recognize red flags earlier, or to walk away from what no longer serves your peace. The hurt you experience becomes a classroom, and your heart becomes a place of wisdom rather than just a place of wounds. That shift doesn't erase the pain, but it rewrites its role in your story. It's easy to let hurt harden you, to let it build walls around your heart so that no one else can get in. But when you turn your hurt into a lesson, it softens you with strength. It doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise. It helps you navigate the future with greater clarity. It equips you to avoid repeating cycles. It allows you to approach life with open eyes and a guarded heart, not a closed one. You begin to live with discernment, not distrust. Some wounds run deep. They challenge your sense of safety, your sense of worth, your very sense of reality. But even then, there is something to be gained: resilience, insight, empathy. You learn not just how to survive, but how to thrive with a heart that has been through fire and still beats with hope. You stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what can I build from this? That's where transformation begins. Lessons come with reflection. They come when you stop reliving the pain and start examining it, when you stop blaming and start understanding, when you stop repeating the story of what they did and start writing the story of how you rose. Pain can either be the chain that holds you back or the hammer that breaks the limitations you once believed. The choice is yours. Hurt can be a scar that tells the world you were broken, or it can be a symbol that shows the world you healed, you learned, and you grew beyond what tried to destroy you. After walking through the pain of being hurt, the lessons we carry become more than just survival. They become a roadmap to healing, to wisdom, to peace. The truth is, no one escapes life without encountering people who will disappoint us, disrespect us, or damage parts of our heart we thought were safe. But what defines us is not the pain itself, it's how we respond to it. Do we let it harden us, or do we let it refine us? Every moment of pain you faced was not in vain. It shaped you, stretched you, and if you allowed it, strengthened you. It taught you how to respond with compassion, how to set boundaries that protect your peace, how to forgive, not to excuse others, but to free yourself. It showed you the power of emotional detachment, how to choose clarity over chaos, and how to rise with a calm spirit even when storms rage around you. And in the end, it gave you the most powerful gift, the ability to turn hurt into wisdom, pain into purpose. You are not weak because you feel. You are not broken because you've been wounded. You are human, and within your humanity lies the resilience to rise above what tried to crush you. The people who hurt you may never apologize. They may never understand the damage they caused, but they don't have to. Because you are not waiting for them to set you free. You are choosing to set yourself free. Let this be your declaration. I will no longer carry what was never mine to hold. I will no longer shrink to fit into places that wounded me. I will no longer seek healing from the hands that hurt me. I am not defined by the betrayal, the silence, the manipulation, or the rejection. I am defined by the strength I found in the wreckage, by the peace I chose when I could have chosen revenge, by the growth I embraced when bitterness could have taken root. So now, walk forward, not with heaviness, but with healing. Speak your truth, but carry it with grace. Remember the pain, but don't live in it. Choose peace over retaliation. Choose growth over grudges. And above all, choose to live free because you deserve nothing less.